Hey y'all, welcome back to the internet. This is Design 264 with Avery. Today, another tutorial, Blender, animated images. We're gonna use PNGs, JPEGs. I'm gonna show you like kind of one technique that's pretty exciting and requires a couple add-ons. But you may have seen something like this before. This is what it looks like. Shit. There. You get it. Okay. So, first things first, I'm going to use Illustrator to generate the PNGs. You can use any program you want, but PNGs, JPEGs, you got it. So the first thing I want to do is have the ability to kind of like, well, what PNGs are great is they have an alpha channel, so you can have transparency. And in order to kind of like have transparency in these things, I want to get rid of the big. So I'm going to kind of like cut the big out of the black, cut the big shapes out of the black shape. You'll see what I mean. So we need to go from text to shapes. How do we do that? We create outlines. So make sure that's selected. Go to Type, Create Outlines right here. And that turns the text into outlines. You can't edit the text anymore in terms of like changing big to bigly, but you can now use Pathfinder, say, and other Illustrator tools to modify it. We're going to use Pathfinder. Coming up in the Properties panel, we want to minus the front. It looks the same, but now it's one object, and you can see that big has been cut out of the black shape. Cool. For the other ones, I'm not going to do that. They're just going to be PNGs with, let's just add a color to this one. PNGs with text. But for this one, I really don't want my text box to extend beyond the shape because that will be representative of PNG. It will affect the perimeter of the PNG. So in order to do that, I have my text box selected. I have my selection tool. I'm going to click on this, drag it in. In order to do it symmetrically, I get it down Alt or Option. You can see what happens. It slides in. Cool. Let's do that for the other one too. Nice. So now my text box is contained within my shapes, these rectangles. And we're going to use the Asset Export panel like we did before in one of the previous tutorials. So let's do these one at a time. So this is one shape, so we just need to click that. Right click anywhere on the screen, collect for export, has a single asset, there it is. This one we need to select the text and the shape, so text, shift, click the shape, and then right click anywhere on the screen, collect for export. Awesome. And then let's do it for this last one. Collect for export. Brilliant. Now we have these three things. And click, and then all three are selected. I'll do just one X as a PNG. I'll export it. I have a demo folder that I'll put it in. Select the folder. It has happened. Now we can go over to Blender, and here we are. I'm going to use the stage set tutorial template that I did for you all that you have access to, and I'll put it in the description of this YouTube video as well, so just so you have it. So in order to bring those PNGs, we need to have the import images as planes preference add-on selected. So in the preference window, click on the add-ons tab, look up here in this magnifying glass area, images, image, and then you just need to make sure that this is selected. The import images as planes. Brilliant, right? Okay, cool. So that's selected. And now when we're here, we can do Shift A, and then we come down to image, images as planes, and then we figure out where they are. They're right there. Then I'm gonna, before you do this, let's have them be emit. And when it's set to emit, it'll look like it looks in Blender, it'll look like it looks in Illustrator in terms of it having kind of like a glow to it, as opposed to being an object, say like a piece of paper that needs lights to be on it for it to be visible and render out of Blender. So emit, and then let's set the DPI to 72. So we're going to go from absolute to DPI and set it to 72. You'll see we'll still have to scale, but they'll all be uniform as they are imported into Blender. And then that is it. So import images as planes. And there they all are. So we want them all to be aligned at 0, 0, 0, like stuff is. But before I do that, I'm going to go through and name all of these. So it just means double clicking and then hit enter. If I click on asset, it's bold. Double click, so that's bold. This is in our outliner right here. Click there, and that is big. Cool. So now we can click here on each one of them. Bold, I want to be at 0, 0, 0, and it's not there. So this is the transform tab. You can hit in when you're in this area, this window 3D viewport area right here. So hit in, and it'll pull that up if you don't see it. 0. Big. Let's do it. Boom. 0. And you can see where our transparent alpha channel is coming into play. We can see through big, but we can't see through bold right behind it. Cool, right? Yeah, super cool. All right, so now let's select all three. So I click on one, shift select, shift click to select all three, and let's scale it up so that, it's pretty close to the edge of the camera. Right now our view is the camera view. So this is what we're gonna see. So the light gray area is what would render out. The dimensions are 885 by 1080. And then the dark gray area is all of the things that are outside the camera. So there's our camera. I just hit the middle scroll wheel, clicked on it to do my little pan navigation, or my orbit navigation, pardon me. Pan is shift, and then you click the middle scroll wheel. And then, so you see what I'm saying right here. Cool. I'm going to go back to my camera view. Viewpoint, camera. And I want big to be at the top, so I'll click it. And then I can grab right here, this little gizmo, move it up there. Bold is good where it is, and then stuff goes to the bottom. So you can see sometimes, when things are overlapping, it's nice to use the outliner to select things. Cool. All right. So now I'm going to show you this technique for animating them. It's a little funky and it's kind of specific, but maybe you all can experiment with it and enjoy it. So come here to edit, preferences, and we need to find another add-on. So this add-on is called AnimAll. Let me type in here. AnimAll. So make sure that that one is selected so you can just start to type in animation. So animation, AnimAll. Cool. It's right here, and it might not have that selected, but this is what we're going to use. We're not quite ready to use it, but I just want to make sure that add-on is in there. So it will be here in this tab right here. If you don't see it, in. This brings up all of these tabs. In. Okay, cool. So before we use it, we're actually going to subdivide all of these individual things, these objects. So in order to subdivide them, we need to go into edit mode right there, or you can hit tab to go to toggle back and forth between edit and object mode. So object mode, edit mode, it will be highlighted. If for some reason it's not, if it looks like that, you can hit A and it will select it and highlight it. Then hit right click, subdivide, and let's subdivide to 20 times. Cool. Now I'm going to tab out to go back to object mode and then select the other one. If I'm in, let's say if I'm here and I'm in edit mode, I can't select my other one, right? It doesn't work. So we have to tab out to go into object mode, select the other one, tab to go into edit mode, right click, subdivide. If this isn't visible right here, all you have to do, once you hit subdivide, this will be here. You just have to click on it, find it, and then subdivide 20 times. Cool. Tab to go back to object mode, click the next one, tab to go to edit mode. Right click, subdivide, find this, click it, 20, enter. Now we're in object mode for all of these. So AnimAll, which if I hit in to bring it up, is great because it allows you to animate in edit mode, which you can't do otherwise. I'll show you how that's dope. So we want, now that we've subdivided all of these things individually, we actually all want them to be in one object. So what we're going to do is shift click on all of them. So 1, 2, 3, shift click. They're all selected. You can see that they're all selected here, and we want to join them together. Let's see if it's a right click thing. Yes. So you can right click and hit join, or you can see it's Control J. That's what I was going to tell you, Control J, but you can do it that way. So now it's all one thing. All one thing. Whoa. So now when I hit tab to go into edit mode, you can see that it's all here. It's crazy, right? Cool. So here's what we do now that we've set it up so beautifully. We are going to do this kind of like warping thing where they all affect each other and they move up and down using proportional editing, which is up there. So first thing we want to do is create our first keyframe with everything so it is right here. So when you're doing keyframes in this AnimAll right here thing in edit mode, after you make a move, well, essentially you need to keyframe with everything selected. And in order to do that, you hit A. Everything is selected. And we're going to do points, right? That's what we care about. And we're going to insert our first keyframe. There it is. It's a little different. You can't hit I on the keyboard because we're in edit mode. We're not in object mode. That's the big difference. But we have AnimAll added to help us out with this. So there's our first keyframe. Let's go to 60. So I can just type in 60 right here. Ooh, did I do it? Wait, oh. Boom. Okay, halfway through this 2.5 seconds of our 5-second animation. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to just using select one of these shapes, and I have on my face selection. You can do, there are other selection methods, but make sure it's on face selection right here. Select a middle shape, and now we get to use proportional editing. Are y'all ready for this? So come here, click right here, proportional editing. You can change the settings here. We're going to use smooth. And now click G on your keyboard. Get ready. Oh, you see what's going on? I'm just clicked it. G. Okay. Now if I hit my scroll wheel, I can have my proportional editing area expand. And you can see it's what's happening. It has like a fall off. There's like a main area and then a fall off. So I'm going to move it right there. You can constrain it to along an axis, right? Say like I want to constrain it to the up and down. So after you hit G, you can constrain to any axis. So if I hit Z, for example, it would just constrain to the Z axis, the up and down. If I hit X, similarly. And if I hit Y, it will do it, but it won't be visible because we're in orthographic, not perspective camera mode. So there is no perspective to perceive. Everything flattens out. That's what happens in orthographic. It's pretty trippy the way it treats space. And it's exciting for multiple reasons. But no, I want to hit, I actually don't want any constraint. All right, so I just hit escape to get out of that. G, again, and then I'm gonna move it big, where I want it, right here. So click to select it, and then now I want to insert a keyframe, but I want to keyframe everything. So what do? You got it, kids. A selects it all. And then I come to right here in this AnimAll edit and do insert keyframe. Now, let's come back into object mode by hitting tab and see the results. Whoa. Cool. Pretty specific, but pretty awesome. Let's come back into edit mode because I want to duplicate my first keyframe and make it my last keyframe. You may remember how to do that. So make sure your keyframe is selected, then Shift D to duplicate. And now you can see I'm moving it to 120. It will kind of like lock into place on one, on each frame, but I want it to be 120. And now if I come back into object mode, so I was in edit mode in order to duplicate the frame. So it would just, I'm not sure it's totally necessary, but that's what I did. Now it will go up, and it will go down, and it will go up. Ooh, and I've got a great loop. Okay, so let's preview what this is going to look like. Cool. You might be saying to yourself, Avery, what is this weird area? This is the HDR that I loaded in for you. If you don't want it and you just want a white background, totally understandable, come here. Click on the Chinese background and Chinese garden background, which is it's like a Chinese, it's a garden that is like wrapped around your entire area. Let's get rid of it. Remove. So now we just have a regular background. It's this dark gray. Let's set it to white. Come all the way up there. all the way up. And now we're ready to render. Okay, I'll just render out one frame so you can see it. There's my dope poster, and that's it. I hope that was helpful for you all, and maybe will lead to some inspiring things. Keep it simple. KISS, right? Keep it simple, silly. Sometimes you can say stupid. Keep it simple. All right, peace.